What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the JuiceBox presented by Lock City. It's Wighty here today. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone's still having a good week so far. Today we have episode 145 of the JuiceBox, which is going to be a review of today's IEM Cologne results, as well as best bets for each of the matchups in the play-in stage taking place tomorrow, Friday, July 25th, which are going to be the final 6 matches that will decide which final teams will qualify for Stage 2, aka the group stage. But before we get into tomorrow's matches, just a reminder, of course, you can join our free tier Discord at discord.gg/LockCity. This gets you access to every cheat sheet every day across all active major sports, access to picks from all 9 of our pro cappers, and tons of other sports-specific and stat-specific data points on a daily basis to help you become a better sports bettor. We drop most of our content on our main Twitter account at _LockCity, but you can also join that free tier Discord group and get access to everything first. Plus, in Discord, you're getting access to every cheat sheet every day and every projection sheet, whereas on Twitter we are mixing and matching and dropping a couple each and every day, aside from, of course, Free Sheet Friday, which, by the way, does take place tomorrow. So make sure you are following us on Twitter for our full drop of cheat sheets that we have to offer tomorrow and every Friday. In the Discord, we are doing daily picks from our capper team. We have daily projections for all active major sports. And of course, we have our Lock City cheat sheets that we are running for a ton of different sports and prop markets. On the CS2 side of things, this is going to get you access to my premium plays and parlays, every CS2 cheat sheet that we drop, and so much more. You can get better results on your sports betting for free by joining the Discord, subscribing to our JuiceBox podcast on both YouTube and Spotify, and turning on post notifications so you know as soon as we drop our picks, and you can get your bets in before the lines move too much, as well as following both our JuiceBox account on Twitter, which is at LCJuiceboxPod, and our main Twitter account, which again is at _LockCity. For those of you that like the community aspect of things in real time, again, I suggest joining our free tier Discord, which is at discord.gg/LockCity. Lastly, for all of the odds discussed in today's video, we are going to be using thunderpick.io, which is one of the top books in the world for esports betting. You can deposit using crypto, credit card, Apple Pay, or Visa Debit, and Thunderpick has lines for all of your favorite esports, including but not limited to CS2, League, Dota, Valorant, Overwatch, COD, Fortnite, Rocket League, and so much more. If you visit tinyurl.com/lcthunder, like you see on the screen here, you can get a 100% deposit match on your first deposit up to $600. Any amount that you deposit up to $600 will get immediately matched by Thunderpick for you to be able to use for your esports picks. We've been super profitable, obviously, on CS2 here, but with a deposit bonus, you can always try your luck on some of your other favorites with that free money to play with. That's tinyurl.com/lcthunder for a 100% deposit bonus at Thunderpick up to $600. Alrighty, y'all. So let's get into a quick review of what happened today on the CS2 side of things. A ton of different events. I will give the page a quick refresh here, see if they pulled in updates. Great. Okay, wonderful. So we got an updated Liquipedia page that we can look at, and then obviously an updated, let me go into results, an updated HLTV page here that we can take a peek at as well. So there were 6 games that took place today. Obviously on yesterday's pod, we shouted out 6 lines. So we will quickly review those 6 lines in regard to today's results. Those 6 lines are going to be here on your screen. So Gamer Legion, +1.5. We needed them to win at least a map. They ended up winning 2-0 against Virtus.pro. They flew through Virtus.pro, so that was a nice and easy one. We needed TYLOO on the money line. That one was pretty sweaty. Not gonna lie to y'all. We needed 3 maps there, and they did get the job done. So they cashed us out there. Third leg here, unfortunately, that we dropped the ball on was 3D Max. We needed them to win at least a map. They got O2'd by Nip. They were not looking good at all today in that matchup. Bait, I'm sometimes used to still calling them B8 in my head. Bait and FlyQuest, over 2.5 total maps. That ended up cashing as well. FlyQuest won by a map score of 2-1, but Bait won a map there. They took care of us. Liquid, we needed to win at least a map. That one was sweaty, but they got it, well, kind of sweaty, but they got it done. FaZe ended up 2-1ing Liquid there, and Liquid gets dropped down, which we'll talk about here in a moment. And then Heroic, lastly, Heroic was squaring off against MIBR. Heroic won 2-0. We called out Heroic on the money line on the pod yesterday. So overall, we went 5 for 6. We looked really good. We had Bait and FlyQuest as a single. We cashed on that. We had Liquid and Heroic combined. We cashed on that. So a profitable day for us. Unfortunately, 3D Max was the only downside to our day. Nonetheless, looking forward to what we have going here today. We'll first take a look at the bracket and kind of see in terms of movement what ended up happening here. So NIP beating 3D Max automatically qualified them to move forward. FaZe beating Liquid qualified them to move forward to the group stage as well. And Gamer Legion beating Virtus.pro let them qualify to the group stage. So kind of looking forward to the bracket down below. There is Group A and Group B. Each of these groups already have 4 teams waiting for the other teams in them already. Group A, we have Vitality, G2, Falcons, and Mongols. And then Group B, we have Mouse, Na'Vi, Aurora, and Spirit. So 8 of the 16 teams are already decided in the group stage. They got to bye to the group stage. And these 8 teams, when they qualify out of this play-in stage, are going to qualify then for the group stage, obviously. So we have 3 that got locked in today. Teams that went 2-0, and again, that's going to be FaZe Clan, Ninjas in Pajamas, or NIP, and Gamer Legion. Tomorrow we're going to, and then some teams got bumped down below to the lower bracket as well based off of these losses. So Virtus.pro obviously down here. Heroic beat MIBR to stay alive. So Heroic plays VP now tomorrow. 3D Max losing to NIP, that bumped them down, and they had to play the winner of TYLOO ML Complexity, which ended up being TYLOO, obviously, as we know. So TYLOO plays 3D Max now tomorrow. And then Liquid lost to FaZe Clan. They got bumped down. FlyQuest beat Bait. So Liquid plays FlyQuest tomorrow. The early matchups for tomorrow, we'll slide over to HLTV for a slightly better view in a moment. But the early matchups for tomorrow are going to be Astralis and FURIA, and then Big and Pain Gaming. This lower bracket round 2 game that we see here on the screen is not yet decided. The loser of Astralis and FURIA, so the winner is going to directly qualify. The loser of Astralis and FURIA will get sent down here to play the winner of Big and Pain Gaming. So those are going to be the first matches of the day tomorrow, obviously. And then the loser of this game plays the winner of this game at 12:30. They get a little bit of a break while these other games are taking place. So the first 2 that we are going to talk about for tomorrow are going to be Astralis and FURIA and Big and Pain, which are both going to be at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. First up is going to be Astralis and FURIA. Where we're taking a look down, obviously, at what these teams have done recently here in this tournament. So Astralis, they came up and beat Bait. So these teams obviously here have both only played once if we're flipping back over to the bracket here. FURIA beat FlyQuest and Astralis beat Bait, and that's how they ended up meeting here. Every single other team has played twice. These teams have only played once. Well, that's a lie. Sorry, Big and Pain. But aside from the teams that we saw today. So heading over here, so Astralis obviously 2-0'd Bait. FURIA 2-1 FlyQuest. Last time that these teams saw each other was way back at the beginning of the year in March at IEM Katowice. At Katowice, we saw Astralis win 2-1. They won Inferno 13-10. They won Nuke 13-11. They lost Dust 13-8 in between. I don't know how either of these teams are going to look on Overpass. Do I think that we see Overpass? No, I think Astralis probably instabans it. What that brings us to in terms of a map pool, I think Astralis has the better map pool from top to bottom. I don't see, aside from obviously Train, I don't see a map that FURIA can win here when we're looking at map pool. I think Astralis is better top to bottom. FURIA's number 9 world ranking I don't think is going to last very long for them. Give me Astralis here on the money line as a pretty safe first parlay piece, and we'll move forward. Well, first we'll add it to our... add it to Thunder Pick. So we're going to go with Astralis here, 1.68. It was 1.72 a little bit ago. It seems to be hovering in between. Next one up is going to be Big and Pain, also at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. These 2 teams kind of sketch me out. Public consensus is leaning Big. I don't necessarily blame them. While we are talking about Pain and what we saw from Pain, they did not look good against Liquid at all. Big obviously didn't look great against FaZe, but they didn't look horrible either. Over here, looking at it quickly for us, Big lost 13-7 and 13-9 on Inferno and Ancient respectively. And then Pain lost 13-7 and 13-8 on Mirage and Dust 2 respectively. I think this one will be pretty close. Looking at the map pool, I think there are advantages, obviously, for Big. Big has played some good competition as of recently. They were able to beat Heroic only a week ago. They did lose to Complexity. They lost to Bet Boom, yada, yada, yada. They had a tough one against FaZe there. I do think that they could win a map against Pain. I don't think that's an outlandish ask. If we're looking at maps like Mirage, I think they could win a Mirage. I think they could win an Ancient if they can find out... I'm assuming Pain's not going to ban Ancient, not going to insta-ban Ancient. I don't think that would be a bad choice for Big, but I think their best choice is probably just going to be Mirage. I think they win a map for sure, regardless of which of the two that they pick. So the first two that I'm going to slot together here are going to be Astralis and Big. Those two together at present, and this has been hovering around and changing a little bit. It was 2.3 a little bit ago. It's presently 2.26 on ThunderPick, so a nice little double up on your money for first thing tomorrow morning on both of these 7 o'clock games. And then if you want to mix and match these kind of further, I'll show all of the selections on screen at the end for your mixing and matching. But my first pre-selected parlay for y'all is going to be right here. It's going to be Astralis on the money line alongside Big plus 1.5 map spread. So we need Big to win at least a map, and we need Astralis to win the match. That's going to be 2.26 times your money. Alrighty, we will move forward. Next two up that we are going to see here at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time are going to be Virtus.pro and Heroic, and then FlyQuest and Liquid. For VP and Heroic, this one's going to be really hard. Heroic here is listed as an underdog. That very quickly changed. So Heroic came out as 2.15. It dropped down to 2. Now, if we're looking at updated odds, Heroic's all the way down to 172. So they're now a pretty significant favorite. I agree. When Heroic came out as an underdog, I immediately messaged like 4 people on Discord. I was like, Heroic's an underdog, Heroic's an underdog. Bet it, and now it's changed significantly. Nonetheless, I still think they're the best pick here for tomorrow. I'm going to take as a safe play for a parlay piece, Heroic just to win a map. So Heroic plus 1.5. It was hovering around 1.3. I think that's super safe in terms of working into parlays. But then Heroic on the money line, I don't think is outlandish either. If the odds end up changing, and we can end up getting them closer to underdog money, I like it a lot more. Virtus.pro, I do obviously think has potential to win this map. When we're looking at map pool, I know it looks like it favors Heroic a lot more, but this is going to be a super gritty matchup. There's a number of maps that could be close. I think Virtus.pro's got a pretty nasty Dust 2. They could steal that. I even like them to steal Ancient. I know they've struggled on Ancient, but when you're looking at the teams that they've played on Ancient, they're all pretty good teams aside from these couple of North American ones. So I don't dislike them to win that map either. Against a new look Heroic that's still kind of trying to find their groove, but they did look really good against MIBR, or rather MIBR looked horrible today. So slight money line lean's going to be Heroic, but definitely Heroic plus 1.5 as a nice little parlay piece there. I dig it. All right, and then the second one here, for second, I guess, leg of this parlay, we'll quickly talk about this 10 o'clock game, and then we'll move forward for the parlay piece. I don't yet have odds for this other 10 o'clock game, so we'll kind of just quickly glance over it. That's going to be FlyQuest and Liquid. I'll give leans in terms of money lines. Oh, it looks like here now we do have odds, and I agree with this. But I do think FlyQuest could be a little bit sneakier. I think Liquid tends to fold in big positions. I'm still going to vote them, though, on HLTV. Alrighty, so scrolling down a little bit, FlyQuest I do think could win Dust 2. FlyQuest I do think could win Inferno. FlyQuest I do think could win Ancient. FlyQuest I even do think could win Nuke, because Liquid has not looked good on Nuke. On the Liquid side of things, I think Liquid could potentially win that Nuke map. They could potentially win Ancient. They probably win Mirage. I think they could potentially win Train when we saw them out here on Train. Obviously, they looked horrible against Mouse, but that was a couple of months ago. They've obviously boot camped on it since then. They've boot camped as a team. They've obviously had to work Overpass in there a little bit, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of Overpass into this tournament. I think subsequent tournaments, as the summer kind of progresses, we'll see a little bit more Overpass. But with high stakes tournaments and big prize pools, you're not just going to randomly throw out Overpass if you don't have a lot of confidence in your team's positioning on it. So I'm still going to lean Liquid on the money line. Liquid is the better team here, but it's not something that I'm going to be throwing into a parlay for tomorrow. This is probably one that I'll just go map by map, and if I feel like there's one that FlyQuest could win, I might just live bet them to win a map, i.e. when they pick Dust 2, which I'm assuming they probably will. I could see them picking Inferno, but I think Dust 2 is wiser of them to take, and at which point I'll probably live bet them to win their map pick. But my lean for this one is going to be Liquid on the money line unofficially. Well, I guess officially, but there's no parlay associated with it. And then lastly, because the 12:30, we don't know what's going to happen in these first ones. I'm taking Astralis on the money line, so I'm assuming FURIA is going to get bumped down here. And then we're taking Big plus 1.5, but I don't know who's going to win this. So the winner of Big and Pain will probably meet FURIA here. Do we know what happens yet in that game? No. Do we have odds for it yet? No. So there's probably very little point talking about it. Therefore, we'll just slide forward to the last game here, which is going to be 3D Max and TYLOO at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 3D Max, I don't know if I'm a little bit bitter because they busted our parlay today, or if it's because they just looked horrible. But I don't have any faith in them tomorrow against TYLOO. I'm going to live vote TYLOO here on the pick a winner. And TYLOO is going to be the pick here. It's going to be a strong pick. I think TYLOO can win the majority of these maps here. I think they're obviously going to insta-ban Dust 2. Overpass is going to be a little bit tricky. We haven't seen 3D Max on Overpass yet. What we've seen out of TYLOO so far has only been 2 losses, but 2 semi-justifiable ones. I mean, your very first time playing Overpass to lose 13-5. This was like 4 days after the Counter-Strike official announcement that it was coming into the map pool. And Virtus.pro, their players, their core players, or a majority of their roster would have played it the last time it was in rotation, where the same can't necessarily be said for TYLOO, so I think that's kind of justifiable, and this loss against Complexity was close. Do I think that we see Overpass here? No, unless they think that, like as a decider, that it might be beneficial. But TYLOO's going to win their map pick regardless. I think they probably win 3D Max's map pick, and TYLOO instabans Dust 2 here. Takes away the only map that 3D Max has some sort of benefit on. It's probably going to force them into an Ancient. I think TYLOO could win Ancient. They probably win this 2-0. But TYLOO on the money line is going to be my second leg here for my second parlay. So we'll add TYLOO with Heroic. That's going to bring us to 2.09 times our money. I like that overall. I think from top to bottom, this is a pretty straightforward slate. So we're going to run with those 2 parlays officially here, which are going to be, so again, for the first one, we're going to have Astralis on the money line, as well as Big plus 1.5 map spread. So we need Big to win at least a map. That's going to be 2.31 times your money. And then the second one, which we just built on the screen here, obviously, is going to be Heroic plus 1.5. So we need Heroic to win at least a map. And then TYLOO on the money line. So we need TYLOO to win the match. That's going to be 2.09 times our money. So 2 nice little bankroll builders here. Double up our money on each of them. I'm going to throw a unit at least on these, maybe even 2. I'll announce it in the Discord. Again, Discord is at the bottom of the screen here, discord.gg/LockCity if you're not already in there. We give out all of this content for free, and you can get access to my picks as well as official unit sizing once I'm undecided on it. But throwing at least a unit on each of these, potentially 2 units on each of these, and I love these parlays. And then overall, in terms of what we're looking at for picks, officially, we will be going with Astralis on the money line at 1.68. We'll be going with Big plus 1.5 map spread, 1.38 times. Heroic plus 1.5 map spread, which was hovering. It was 1.35 originally. Now, as you can see over here, it's down to 1.22 as the odds have shifted in Heroic's favor. We'll be taking Liquid on the money line, which was TBD, but we can see here it's now 1.45 times our money. And then This one, obviously, in the middle, we don't have anything official for because we don't know who's playing in it. And then TYLOO on the money line for our last leg. Feel free to mix and match these 5. I feel great about them. Feel free to mix and match these 5 any which way that you like. And then, of course, again, our official parlays for today, or for tomorrow, are going to be Astralis on the money line and big +1.5 map spread, as well as heroic +1.5 map spread and TYLOO on the money line. All right, y'all. Looking forward to bringing y'all some cash here tomorrow. Super excited to get into things here bright and early again tomorrow, and we will see you tomorrow once games wrap up to talk about the group stage that is going to be kicking off on Saturday. So another quick turnaround time. I'll do same thing tomorrow, record this as soon as games kind of wrap, and we'll make some official predictions for Saturday. All right, y'all. Thank you for listening. Take care, and see y'all tomorrow. Peace.